Hey, guys. Welcome to Tall Tales with Taco. Listen, this is going to be a fun episode. And thanks to our mutual friend, Mark Schuster. Thank you so much for doing the introduction. This is going to be fantastic. I've got tonight Sergeant Major Mario P. Fields, who has a podcast called Unarmored Talks. And it is awesome. I put a link in the description. One of his latest shows, really enjoyed it. It was with a former Marine Staff Sergeant. I think you'll enjoy it too. And I think all the other interviews that he has, you'll appreciate. But with 26 years in the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major for 9 of those years, he's got some pretty good stories. So without further ado, hey, Mario, how are you? I'm going to bring you over here. How's that? Uh-oh.
I got you covered, man. I feel great. Hey,
Oh, dude,
and
you
I
gave me a heart attack.
this.
You gave me a heart attack.
Hey, I'm a fellow podcaster, so I had to mess with you.
Oh my God. I was like, we just checked the comms. Everything worked great, man. All systems checked okay.
No,
Hey,
it's good seeing you, man.
it's good seeing you too. And I appreciate your time tonight. Really do. This is a lot of fun. And our friend Mark, without friends like Shu, we would not be successful. I'm telling you that right now. What a great guy.
Yeah.
Um,
Mark is amazing.
Good people. So 26 years. Take us back. What were you thinking when you joined the Marine Corps 26 years ago?
I wasn't. No, I'm just joking. Taco. First of all, thank you for having me on your show. And everyone, if you guys have not subscribed to his YouTube channel and his podcast, shame on you. Get on there, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, share, and let's grow this audience. But like everyone else, everyone has their own journey. Taco, in my intent was to do 4 years when I first decided to join, and then get out and go to college. I love to party, so I said if I go to college right after high school, I didn't have much discipline. I didn't want my parents to be upset. So I said, let me join the Marines, get some discipline, man.
Yeah. So you went probably what, 98?
93.
93 is when you went in? Oh yeah, because you've been retired a couple years. Yeah. So 93. So this is post first Gulf War. We're not doing much in the world except for Muse and invasion of Haiti. That was the big one, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you had 5 ribbons, you were like Chesty Puller. If you had 5 ribbons, we were like, oh my God, you are a hero.
Do you know what? You know what's funny about that? I just had that conversation the other night with another guy. It was a Coast Guard guy. No. I'm sorry, a PJ and LD. And this is like in 85. He had an air medal. He had all these stuff, but he's a PJ. And I'm like, hey, you know what? You got a hell of a rack in 85 as a young staff sergeant. And he's like, oh, this was boot camp or this was whatever. And I'm like, you can play it all you want, but I'm looking at the ribbons. You did really well. And I'm thinking, I joined in 86, commissioned in 88. I had a shooting badge, and that was a rifle pistol. And then the first Gulf War happened. And then they issued the Navy, the national defense. And I'm like, all excited that year at the ball, putting it on my uniform. Oh, hey, I got it. Until old Salty Gunny came up, it was like, hey, sir, did you have lunch? Yeah, I told the story on the last one. I'm like, yeah, lunch at the club. And I'm like, yeah, I had lunch at the club. He goes, hey, you dripped a little pizza on your uniform. You got a pizza stain. And I'm like, oh, because I had pizza. And
we were proud of it. You had the one medal. Come on, man. That that one medal, you shined it up. You had to buff it out.
Yeah.
Come on.
Had to make it look good. Actually, I've got a great picture of you at one of the balls, and it is a nice shot. You know what? I'll pull up here in a minute. But what was your MOS when you first joined? It wasn't infantry because I know you were in combat, but
when I first joined in 1870. Now that's for all my TikTok fans. They're probably like, 1870. But when I first joined, and Taco, this really happened. I wanted to be a combat engineer, man. I said, I don't want to be a grunt. I want to be a combat
Really?
engineer. I just want to blow some things up. And
Right.
and my recruiter, if he's watching this, they were like, "Why don't you go 6 years, 6 year contract, and a unit diary clerk? You're gonna deploy all over the place." And I was like, 6 years, unit? What the hell is a unit diary? I was like, man, hell no. But you know what made me say yes? And see, a lot of
What's that?
folks don't know this. It was my father. Now, after the show, I'm gonna call him. My dad was like, Mario, if that's what you want to do, then you're about to be a man. Men make decisions, but they stick with them.
Yeah.
Man, my mom was like, 6 years, you really want to go? I was like, hell no. She said, well, you got to tell your dad. Man, I went home, Taco. My dad said, how'd it go down in the MEPS? I said, dad went great. I'm going 6 years. I'm gonna be a unit diary clerk. I'm gonna be the best unit diary clerk the Marine Corps has ever seen. He said, I was like, good luck. But that's what happened.
No, was
Six
he
year
military
contract,
as
man.
well?
Dad is a Navy veteran.
Oh, okay. What did he do?
I don't know. I just know dad was on. I got a lot of pictures when he was on the ships back in the day. And I don't know what his rating was. I don't know what his rating was, but I do have a lot of
Right.
photos up.
Well,
I'm gonna call him.
you gotta ask your old man what I had my dad on for 2 episodes, and we talked all the stories and his background, what he did in Vietnam and stuff, so you need to get your dad on your podcast.
I know I'm gonna call him tonight. Matter of fact, we're about to celebrate his 75th birthday in Colonial Williamsburg. So I'm gonna have to sit down with a nice beverage and be like, "Hey, Dad, what was your rating in the Navy? I've never asked."
Yeah, yeah, ratings or stories, like capture the stories of what it was like when he first went in and what was his job and, was he sea-based or land-based or, what did he do?
I know one thing, he didn't like it. That's for sure. He was sea based, and he said he goes, the Navy wasn't for me, son. And he ended up doing 30 years of General Motors, man. He did 30 years and retired from General Motors. But I do know he was like, yeah, being out on the ocean wasn't my thing.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I know that he's proud of you as a Marine, though.
yeah, he is. I was a belligerent kid.
Dude, it's like my dad, man. I called up, I was at OCS and I called him up and I said, "Hey, we have liberty. We have one night off. We can leave on Saturday. We got to be back on Sunday." That's officer deal, right? OCS, and you get a night off after like 3 weeks or 4 weeks of OCS. And I said, "Dad, I'd like to have a party at the house for all the boys. At the end of when we right before we graduate, I'd like to have a party. Get some beer and stuff like that, and have all the guys come over." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know about 30 Marines coming over to my house, puking everywhere. That's not my idea of fun, son." And so I kept working on him. My mom worked on him. Well, finally he agreed to it, and I went down, got a keg. We cooked hamburgers on the grill. All 30 guys showed up. They marched. They took the subway from Roslyn out to walk to the house. They lived up in Arlington, and they're singing Jody's the whole way. We're in the backyard. We could hear them singing Jody's as they're coming around the corner of the neighborhood. And after that night, my dad had such a great time talking to all these guys. And when he got done that night, you would think that all these years later, he had retired from the Marine Corps. He's got the proud parent of a U.S. Marine on his car. He doesn't have a Navy sticker. He'll wear a hat, Navy vet, but his bag had Marine Corps patches all over it. Yeah, I mean, there's something about the Marine Corps where we've got a cult that most people wish they joined, I think.
Dad, I don't think Dad was more worried about the drunkenness. He's probably looking at the drywall, man, and running a budget on how much destruction.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, I had you just for a second. It froze, and so if you're out there, I apologize. AT&T, which is normally 500 million deals, is having a little issue. We've had rain all day, and for some reason, it's scooping up the internet. So I apologize if you're out there. But yeah, so you ended up Ryan Donahue. You know Ryan Donahue?
I do know Ryan Donahue. What's up, man?
Who
The
motivates the
motivator,
motivator?
Ryan. Third, hey, that's Fourth Marines right here. That's Shanghai. Ryan Donahue. He's an amazing pilot as well. I think Ryan flew like for 50,000 years.
50,000? No, he's a little bit younger than me. I actually surfed for
Exactly.
his dad. Yeah, his
Yeah,
dad, Colonel Donahue was my boss at, 9th Marine Corps District when we were on recruiting duty.
yeah,
What an
good man.
incredible,
Good man.
incredible
He's I can't smoke cigars anymore, but he always likes a good cigar as well. Good seeing you, Ryan, in the virtual space, man.
That's awesome, and let's see. Oh, is this your wife? Go
That's
Navy.
my wife. That yeah, she's a Navy
Uh,
veteran.
okay, alright. Well, we know you wanted Nicole, you wanted to join the Marines, but, we'll take you as a Navy vet. We love you anyway.
She's one of
Yeah.
the most motivated sailors I've ever met. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. I hope you're watching, babe. Look at that. Look at that lady right there. Look at that
Look what
one
I dug
medal,
up,
baby.
man. Nicole, I
And she
to
had the
I
same
used to be a
medal.
private investigator. There you go.
Hey, Taco, and she had the same medal too. I tried to, I was like, look at all this chest candy. She was like, I got the same one.
Oh, man. So, what's, your best learning experience from do you remember boot camp? What was
Yeah, I
the
do. I can tell you one
best
that a
learning
lot of
experience?
folks don't know, man.
Tell me.
We were out in the field, and it was like
Uh,
4, 5 in the morning, and I had one of them MRE number twos. Y'all know the deal. Having pooped for like a week, and I had to
right,
go bad. And the drill instructors was like, "Y'all got like 10 seconds." And I ran into a porta potty, and by the time I got in, he was on 3 seconds. And Taco, I just let it go. I didn't aim. I had to get it out. And man, I ran out of that porta potty, and it was like it's dark, and all I see is flashlights, moonbeams.
right.
And all I hear is this across this in the woods. Who in the who shitted, excuse my language, all over this what goddamn recruit? And he's cussing, and I quote what he was saying. And man, I just sat there. I said, I am not saying a word. Hey, Joe, sort of started patting. If you're still out there, it was Mario P. Fields. And he started going after the tall recruits, the fat recruit, like every recruit, but not the little kid, not the little dude. And I just sat there, sir, yes, sir, sir. Recruit Fields, did you see anyone? Sir, this recruit didn't see anyone, sir.
It was a tall guy, sir. Tall guy.
Sir, it was a 6-footer, sir. Yeah,
So
man.
you just totally trashed his entire the entire probably what, 1 or 2 porta potties?
One, he talked about it for 5 days straight. That drill instructor, because we were in the field, and he talked about it from 5 in the morning until lights. It for 5, 6 days straight. He would come in the morning. I still can't believe somebody, one of you, missed the toilet. And I'm just sitting there like,
Did you ever tell anybody?
on your show.
No, I mean, back then. Keep a secret, right? Did
No.
you ever tell anybody back then? No?
Marco, no. I didn't
Wow.
tell a recruit, no one.
Wow.
I I was scared, man. I mean, he was pissed.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
I was already scared. I mean, they're drill instructors, but and I'm only like 5 foot nothing, man. But he was just irate. And he was like, if I find the nasty recruit who can't even hit the toilet,
uh,
I'm gonna drop you. You will
where was
not
this? Paris
Paris
Island
Island.
or, San Diego?
Paris Island.
Oh.
Yeah, man. He was like, I won't go to sleep because you will never become a Marine. I was like, oh, dog, I ain't telling nobody.
Can't
Hey,
believe
man,
that.
we only had like 3 weeks left. I was like, nope.
Yeah. Yeah, not gonna tell a soul. Yeah, I
There
keep
it
that
is.
one quiet.
Mario P. Fields, Paris Island, the poop master.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. So how else did what else happened in boot camp? Any other good tales?
Oh, I can tell you some. So swim qual, I kept failing the easiest part. In my senior, and hopefully my senior drill sergeant is watching. He's on Facebook, and he said I have never seen a recruit that would fail the easy part. All the hard
Right.
stuff I passed. You know why, Taco?
Why
This
is
is
that?
my belief. It's because the gear wasn't made for a 5'3", 110-pound recruit. Every time I jumped in the water to take the pack off and all that good stuff, man, I just got tangled in it. And I would just sink to the bottom and look up and wait for them to come get me.
Oh, no way. So you're the epitome of the pool rat that drowned every time he jumped in there.
No, it was the last part.
Really? That
Yeah,
was
I
it.
could swim. Yes, the swim was easy. The
Mm,
all of that it was when I had to remove the gear. Every time like the helmet was in my face, the
yeah.
pack was in my chest. I was like, this, I couldn't go, hey, drone sorters, this gear, this Vietnam era gear, it doesn't fit 5'3". It's, go to Baby Gap, get me something.
You're 5'3"?
I'm
You
five
don't
two
look five.
now.
Yeah, 5'2" now after wearing body armor all the times we were
Yeah,
deployed.
I am not Taco. I am not joking. My YouTube channel used to be named the 5'3" Motivator. When I got measured by the VA in 5 years ago, when I was doing my disability stuff, when I walked away from that wall, I looked at that ruler and I said,
Yeah.
"Who is that?" The lady said, "You Sergeant Major." I said, "How tall is that?" She said, 5'2.5". Do that to change my YouTube channel.
I believe it. When you used to put the body armor on, turn your head, you remember that one back in '08, that style? Turn your head, and it was like a saddlebag. You put it
Yeah.
on over you and then lift up the front and Velcro and
I mean, thank goodness for the
every day.
new, when they upgraded, we went to war and stuff, we got the new stuff. But that Vietnam era, man,
Yeah,
the H harness and you know, uh, that stuff I just couldn't fit it.
yeah.
I
I
just had to
believe
remember they just had medium, large, and small. That was it. They didn't have extra
it.
small.
Wait, and they did well, wait a minute, they have female recruits there, right? You can borrow one of their uniforms.
Man, they're
Kidding.
taller than me, man.
I'm just kidding. No, speaking of uniforms, did you see that the Marine Corps, they have not been able to buy uniforms for like 2 months, 3 months?
I
There are no
have.
uniforms to be had,
I have.
and the Navy as well. Man, what's happening to our military?
It's funny. I'm a part-time U.S. Department of Labor employment facilitator. So I teach, I facilitate employment workshops for the United
Uh,
States labor market, for all folks transitioning. And one thing I put on the board, Taco, is external factors. External factors, those things that you cannot see coming. And then
right.
how do you react or respond? So again, I'm looking at a macro perspective. Okay, organization, we got some procurement issues. How are
Yeah.
we going to respond or react to this?
Well, we can't blame it on COVID because, I mean, COVID's been over for 4 years, so the supply chain, hopefully we're not importing all the material from China, but,
You know what size is not out of stock?
what's that?
My size.
Uh,
Plenty,
I
plenty,
Yeah,
but I'm out.
somebody was joking they had to go to a surplus store to go pick up an old uniform to get because they couldn't get one of the PX, NEX or
Mhm.
whatever. So,
Yeah.
a lot's changed too because when we first came in and we had the woodlands that you had to starch
Mhm.
and then we got name tapes. I actually think that was a big improvement. I mean, you want to know the name of all your Marines, but it definitely helped to have a name tape. And then and
It
we had
did.
shine boots. So you had your one set of jungle boots that were just, mirror shined, and then you had your field boots. Now these guys, man, they don't have to I mean, maybe iron the uniform, throw it out of the dryer, do this to it, and put the rank on it. Off they go. Um,
I was one
it's
of those. So
amazing.
I was a drill instructor when we made that change.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah, I was on the
From
drill
the
field.
Woodlands?
hmm So
Oh,
I was on the drill field when the Marine Corps did that switch. And I would tell you, I was one of those people that wasn't a big fan. I was like, we're gonna get lazy or whatever. I developed these
yeah.
beliefs and biases. But I will tell you, my friend, after after I subscribed, I did my research and saw how efficient it was. Oh, I was a big fan of the new ones as a drill instructor.
Oh, the camis themselves, the desert, nowadays, the poor guys, man, they gotta wear the Woodlands all year round
Yeah.
unless you're deployed to a desert theater.
hmm
I liked it when they had the summertime, everybody
hmm
transition to the desert,
Right.
and it really reflects a lot of the heat off the sun, especially when you're in Texas. So, that was nice, or a tan flight suit, that was nice. Um, the M16A2 when we had the, A1 when we first joined,
hmm
and then when I got to TBS, we got the A2, and it was like, "Ooh." But it's not fully automatic.
No.
But the fully automatic one, I used to tell my dad all the time, "Dad, what do you want for your birthday?" I'm like, "I want an M16," because we had the rubber ducky M16s as a kid playing war in the woods. I grew up on, uh, amphibious base over there in Little Creek. And
hmm
so one of the kids' dad was a warrant officer, and he brought home like maybe 10 of these rubber ducky M16s. And so we were running around the woods with camis and M16s and all this stuff, um, which was just phenomenal as a kid. But I'd say, "Yeah, I want an M16." He goes, "Son, join the Marine Corps. They'll pay you to play with one." So when I got to OCS and they had the fully automatic, I'm like, "Oh, this is great." And I'm out there just and my buddies are going, "Hey, here, you wanna shoot mine?" I'm like, "Yeah." I grab their magazine, slap it in there. I must have shot off like maybe 600 rounds that afternoon. And then I go back and they're all like, "Okay, I'm done." Cleaning. And I'm
Yeah,
over
because you had to
there.
do, yeah, your weapon, man. You probably had to do some major weapons maintenance.
Oh, dude, my weapon was just so clogged up with all the crap in there from the blanks. But, uh, but it
Everybody's
was
like,
I got it.
everybody's like, hey, Taco, you want to do it again tomorrow? Hey,
Hey, you know what? Fool me once. That, after that cleaning, and I sat there for hours cleaning that damn rifle. Um, I never took anybody else's ammo, and now I understood why you're walking around the training areas, and you just see all these unused blanks everywhere, because the
hmm
prior enlisted guys who were smart were going click, 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 and they'd shoot like 5 rounds, bang, 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 so they could say they shot. But the rounds were everywhere out there in Quantico, and it was all because nobody wanted to clean their damn weapons, that's for sure.
Mm-mm.
Except for
And you
this one
know,
kid.
now go
We
ahead,
had this
man.
we had this one kid who somehow got a hold of a Brillo pad, and he literally took all the bluing off the barrel of his M16, and we're doing the inspection and the, drill, gunny was like, What did you do to this weapon?" He goes, "This candidate shined it really good. It's clean." Oh my god. They took him outside and thrashed him so hard, they threatened him with break time and all this stuff because he was destroying government, equipment, but, his heart was in the right place, trying to make it look good, but, oh, man.
And the drill starters are laughing about that. You're going like, man, because a lot of those guys are prior hats from Paris Island and San Diego, so they're probably going, man, these dang candidates.
Alright, you know what? Go on that. As a drill instructor, you're the scariest mofo out there. I mean, you're worse than, the alien predator. So, how how do you turn that on and turn that off?
My wife, it was
Yeah,
it
if
was a
Nicole's sitting
challenge.
there listening to this.
Hey, Nicole can leave a comment. It was a challenge, man, but there was some nights I would be sleeping and I would start yelling to, get online and I start counting down and stuff like that. So you try to turn it off, but when you go to sleep, sometimes you are still in that drill instructor mode. And then sometimes my wife, I would mess with my wife, whatever, she'd be like, I am not one of your recruits. Yeah, I go, yes, ma'am, ma'am, yes, ma'am. But it was a challenge. You know, the big thing was not trying to stay up and stay engaged with your family, because
Yeah.
when we would work so many hours that as soon as I would get home, I would try to, babe, how was your wife? I had, 2 kids, and dude, I would just fall asleep at the table on the floor. And then back then we had to shine the boots, so Nicole would shine my boots for me. It was a
Uh,
tough 3 years.
how do you do your voice? Can you still turn on your drill instructor voice right now?
See, I got a deep voice. See, God knew
Yeah.
I think God knew I was going to be short. So he said, I'm going to give you a deep voice and make you a Marine. So I didn't have to. Yeah, I didn't, I got a real deep voice. So I didn't have to do that because I just got this booming, deep voice. And it's weird because you're 5'3" and your voice is deeper than half the world. So
Yeah.
recruits already was like, that's weird. So
Yeah.
So I already made everyone like weirded out because like this guy's like 5'2" and his voice deeper than the entire depot.
Were you the Tasmanian devil, the 5'2",
Oh yeah.
5'3" Tasmanian devil,
Oh,
scary as hell, running around these guys?
Taco, and you know what else? I am clinically diagnosed with ADHD. So I was already hyper. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, man. Oh yeah. Like from 5 in the morning, I was in my element. And so, and I was so tall that they couldn't see. I mean, I was so short, they couldn't see me.
Right.
So the recruits couldn't see when I was coming. Where the tall guys, they can see them,
Yeah.
but they couldn't see me. And I was all over the place. I'd yell at anybody. If there was an ant on Paris Island, I stopped and yelled at it. I
Would
didn't
you
like
would you
nothing.
now, would you guys actually you go back to the hut, just shut the door and, you know, you know, not armor all, that, wick how to wick all your stuff out, the socks around your ankles, and you'd spray the stuff on there so that you don't sweat. You don't see the sweat because it would be hotter than hell, and I never saw those guys sweat. I mean, they may be sweating, but their uniforms were always perfect.
Yeah,
Did you guys
you
do that?
know when they when we went back to the hut, man,
Scotch guard.
the Scotch guard. It was either to eat or sleep.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, it was either I need, let me get 5 minutes of a 5 minute nap, or maybe there's like a Snickers in the fridge. Let me shove a Snickers down because I'm not going to eat for another 8 hours, something. But mhm. So that's really what it was. But I'll tell you a quick funny story
Yeah.
if I may. When I was,
Go ahead.
since we're talking about the depot, never forget this recruit. It was He came in. I was a senior drill sergeant, Taco. He came in. He was 30, like 32, and I'm from Michigan. He comes in. He says, "This is like training day 3." He says, "Sir, this recruit is like 30, and this recruit knows this is a joke. But you rest assured that I'm going to play the game." I said, I was a senior drone, so I was like, "Okay." I said, "Have a seat." He said, "Yeah, thank you." I said, "Would you like something to eat?" He was like, "Sure." Man, I had him eat all of the drill instructor's food. It's like midnight. I said,
Uh-huh.
kind of like Pulp Fiction. I said, "Would you like something to wash that burger?" Like Samuel Jackson.
How many
But
bends and thrusts did you make that guy do?
I didn't. So I made him eat everything. Well, I let him eat everything. He drank everything. Man, my drone soldiers came in at 4 that morning, and they
Yeah.
opened up the refrigerator. The green belts, they opened up the refrigerator, and they were like,
Who ate my
"Boss,"
shit?
they were like, "Why?" No, they were like, because that's a sacred area. So
Right.
they were like, "Why did you eat it?" They were like, "Boss, why did you eat our stuff overnight?" And I looked at all 3 of them. I said, "I would never do that. I know how it is to be a green belt." One of those recruits did it. And what the recruit told me is he's promising you 3. He's going to play the game. And oh, he rubbed his belly on the way out.
So what was did you tell them the name?
No,
No? Oh, come
man.
on.
Taco, you talking about a platoon that earned the title United States Marine?
Yeah,
That platoon, when they graduated, they earned the title
yeah.
United States. He came. That kid came. That guy came back the next day, and he was changed. He said, "Sir, good evening, sir. Sir, recruit request permission to speak to drones, senior drones, or staff sergeant Fields." I said, "Come, no, we're Buzz." He goes, "Sir, no, we're not, sir." I said, "Come on, man."
Really?
Yeah, man. It was like 90 degrees in August. Those drone starters, they did not stop from 6 in the morning until 9 at night.
Yeah.
They wore him out. He was like, "This is no joke." Yeah, and I said, "Come on, join me for a midnight snack." He said, "Sir,"
You're evil, man.
he said, "Sir, no, sir, this recruit will never do that again, sir. Sir, can you tell him to turn down the stress?"
Hey, but it's all part of the game, and I know you got it. Don't worry about it, man.
Don't worry about it. It's part of the game, man. You know, Marines, we like to play chess.
It's so funny because when you and I, if we sit there drinking whiskey and telling stories off air, some of the stories would be so bizarre to the average person just listening to this. They couldn't understand, you know, they just the stress that you're under in that position,
Oh,
right? As a recruiter, as an officer candidate. Like I remember standing there and the first guy was Anderson, and Anderson was a surfer dude from Huntington Beach, California, and he showed up with long blonde hair. And right before, I mean, we're in line for the haircut, his nose literally exploded, just blood gushing. He had a, a bleed out. So they took him to the hospital and they cauterized all the blood vessels in his nose. But they didn't give him a haircut. He didn't get a haircut till the next week. So he's marching around. All of us are billard heads, and there's this looked like a girl with long blonde hair up in the front, and he couldn't march. And so, one day the platoon sergeant was like, "Platoon, change step. Everyone but you, Anderson. You don't do a goddamn thing. Hutch." And and everyone does it, and all of a sudden we're all in step. And he goes, "How do you like that, Anderson? I got the whole platoon in step with you." uh, oh God.
yeah. You know what I had to learn is even in my own household, even with my own children, my wife, what I had to learn is just because I can tolerate a ton of stress does not
Yeah.
mean everyone else can. And I had to learn that what may be stressful to someone else, that is stressful to them. And who am I to go, you suck.
Sure.
Quit being soft. You want stress? Let me show you some stress. And that was a transition that I had to go through for years to just to understand that what's stressful to someone else, that's their world.
Yeah.
And my job is to go, what how can I support you?
Well, they don't know that either, though. I mean, you're like a proud daddy. I guarantee you're probably still in touch with all these recruits. You probably have a whole bunch of them that you're still in touch with, don't
Oh,
you?
yeah. Matter of fact, a lot of them used to call me when they were drunk. I told them stop, stop calling me.
At 2 in the
It's like
morning.
they get courage. It's like they don't think I'm gonna pick up. They would hit, go on social media, maybe Facebook or something, and they were
Oh,
like, "See, I told you," or my YouTube channel or TikTok. I'm on all the social media platforms. But that's the only thing I told them about 3 or 4 years ago. I'm like, hey, look, I love you guys. I really do. I do have a life. But if you're gonna call me when you're sober.
yeah, don't drunk dial at 2 in the morning.
Come on.
Make sure my phone's off here.
And if you're winning some bets, I want 10%. Because I'm
Uh,
pretty sure people going, Sergeant Major, he's not gonna pick up. I'll bet you $50. I know that guy. That guy, he'll pick up. And they throw $50 in the pot. So if you're out there, you're watching this show, I want my money, man. I want 10% of
yeah.
all those bets that half you guys won.
Damn Skippy, man, that'd be a lot of money. Speaking of that, you're a staff sergeant and on the drill field, so change of uniforms, that's somewhere around 2003, 2004?
Yeah, that was about 2000. We changed on a depot about 2001, end of 2001, 2002.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And what was the tipping point for you that you realized, you know what? I can make a career out of this. I can get 20. I can stay here.
When I got meritorious gunning. So I went down to the drill field as a sergeant, and I
Uh-huh.
got meritoriously promoted to gunny before I came back to the fleet. And I
Oh,
had
wow.
9.
In 3
Yeah,
years?
yeah,
Wow.
that happened. And I had 9 years in, and so my wife and I were like, "Look, you're gunny." Hmm. She was like, "I'm good. The kids are still, the kids are still growing. We're good. The economy was okay." But she's like, "You're already at E7 and you're
Yeah.
at 9. Let's just keep going."
Yeah. Good woman. Behind every successful guy, there is a hell of a woman back there,
Man,
keeping us
Nicole,
straight.
hey, babe, I love you. We're about to celebrate 30 years, by the way, but she knows that she is the admiral and I am her aide de camp.
That is funny. Household 6 is what I call my wife. So, yeah, I tell you what, man, we could, when I do a little intro, like I'm gonna go fly tomorrow to Kansas City, and I stand up there at the front of the airplane. I do my introductions, and I always tell everybody, I raise your hand if you're a Marine, Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, um, Coast Guard, and I get them all up there. And then I also say, to all the spouses that are out there and took care of us while
Mhm.
we're all deployed, and especially all those Vietnam vets never got to welcome home.
Right.
Um, you know, the spouses, we couldn't do what we did unless we had great spouses. That's for sure.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you a real quick story. My wife emailed me and said, "Hey, I want to get the floors changed. Redo the floors in the kitchen and out to the living room." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, sure," because getting that combat pay, right? And then I noticed she's she's living at my in-laws with the kids. And I'm like, "What are you doing over at the in-laws house?" "Oh, they're just too dusty or whatever, so we just kind of moved out of the house." and I came home, the whole house was redone. I mean, it was beautiful.
Wow.
It was really nice. But I looked at her and I go, "Hey, I saw the money going into the account and then I'd see it going out, but how much money did we save? How was it worth it?" And and she's like, "Oh God, please don't divorce me. I ended up spending up all this money and fixing the house up." And I go, "Well, it looks great. Are we in debt? Did you put it on a credit card?" She goes, "No, we paid for it." And I said, "Okay, are you happy with it?" "Yeah." "Well then, okay." She's like, "That's it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I wish you had told me while I was over there, but I didn't want you thinking about all this stuff while you were deployed." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but still, it's kind of funny because that was her one time that she really was getting ulcers, thinking I was going to divorce her because she'd opened up a 1975 house and it was a money pit with sewage leakage under the
Mm.
slab or on the floor. And it was just all these horrible things that had happened to her. But on the other hand, my wife's a very, very strong alpha type and worked for her parents who owned a heating, plumbing, air conditioning company. So they literally every contractor she had was like, "Oh, your husband's over in the war, family discount. There you go." So she got $80,000 worth of work done, cost 40,000. But
Wow.
it was one of those funny things, but it kind of made up for me going to Iraq because I said I got involuntarily recalled. I mean, here I am on recruiting duty and I got involuntarily recalled. I'm going to Iraq. And she comes into the office one day and I was typing the detail monitor, reserve monitor guy. And I said, "Hey, look, jackass, I volunteered for this stuff. So I don't want the purple hat job in Iraq. I want to be with Marines in Iraq, but I don't want to be in Baghdad. And I don't want that stupid job you talked about at Tampa, being the midnight watch officer and on the beach every day. I don't want that. I want to be with Marines in Iraq." And and I went to the bathroom. She was getting some out of the envelope. She looks up, she's reading this email, and it's like, "I volunteered for this." Well, that was a come to Jesus meeting that we had. That was a very, 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 very difficult. But Yeah, we worked it all out. She even let me go to Afghanistan after I came home safe, she's like, "Hey, can I go to Afghanistan?" "Yeah, sure, okay." "Can I get some more work done to the house?" "Yeah, sure, no worries." It's kinda funny.
And we're gonna reciprocate this. He was like, "This is a reciprocating relationship." But
Uh,
it's interesting you mentioned that too, because it was a lot of times you don't hear folks talk about this. It was also my wife that helped me get out. See, yeah, I retired at 26. I could have went to 30, but it was my wife. She also said, "Mario, it is time to go."
yeah,
She said, "Your skill." Yeah, I was at Camp Hansen. She said, "Your skills and talents, you it's time." She goes,
yeah,
you have skills and talents that you need to use elsewhere. And nothing against the organization. You've just developed to a point where you need to leverage them. And I tell you, Taco, if I didn't listen to her, I don't believe I would have founded Still Serving Incorporated. We just went over 6 years, donated almost $30,000 to our two schools we adopted up in Pitt County, North Carolina. The podcast is 4 years and running. All our social media is monetized. We've impacted millions. And the key thing isn't like in a preamble of the Constitution of the United States of America, if you will, posterity. Nicole and I have really, really, with stakeholders and partners, made, and we're still making a difference for the future, right?
yeah.
Doing things for the youth, the students who don't get a vote. And so if it wasn't for her to say, Mario, your skills, your talents, um, as a business owner, as a podcast, as a broadcaster, as a content creator, and more in the public speaking industry, if she didn't say that, it make me stop, Taco, and do a skills inventory.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? I'd have probably did 30, maybe 35. And who knows? Maybe have never became a founder. Yeah. So man, every time I see her, she goes, "Stop." I'm like, "Babe, thank you,
Yeah.
for making me go, what are my skills? What are my skills? And
What do
how
you what
can
do
I
you tell
apply
what do
them?"
you what do you tell young guys and gals out there when you're talking to them about, life paths and goal setting and achieving those goals? How do you break it down for them?
There's an amazing career scope assessment. First of all, if they're transitioning, I'll tell them to get in the vocational track. There's a 2-day
Mhm.
workshop. It's very accurate, and it's you get your personality RISEC codes, you get your aptitude, your interests, and your work values. But Taco, it's all tied to the United States labor market. It's not like your Ford Lenses or Myers Brick, none of that stuff. So I don't give them a belief or an opinion. I actually give them self assessments to see, are you a thinker? What industry would be best for you through your aptitude? Maybe your verbal, maybe your numerical aptitude is extremely low. Why would you go into finance and your aptitude is super low, or you have no interest in environmental? So yeah, I take a very accurate scientific approach when I am coaching and consulting transitioning service members, spouses, and students.
See, that's amazing. I mean, I always talk to kids about God points. I said, if you set, if I'm flying my airplane,
Hmm.
we call it the magenta line. So as I track along the magenta line, and it could be, say, from Dallas Fort Worth all the way to Shanghai, China, when I flew the
Hmm.
787. Now I'm on the
Yeah.
smaller plane, the 73. But I'm on the magenta line, but there may be a thunderstorm up ahead. And so you have to deviate left, you have to deviate right, get back on track, but you're always working your way to get back after the deviations to get back on the magenta line to your destination.
Right.
So while you may have thunderstorms or maybe you have to divert and land somewhere and you don't make your destination initially, eventually you will. But what I tell folks and stress is that while there are God points in life that you look and you at that time you're like, I just got screwed. This guy got promoted and he got the job. I didn't get that position I wanted. I got screwed. I worked my butt off for this. And failure just makes you better.
Hmm.
Failure makes you, if you view it that way, makes you a better person because you're constantly striving to improve yourself. But after about 3 or 4 of these points in your life that you look if you get to here and you look back and you go, "God, if it had not been for this
Right.
point, I deviated to the left, and then I deviated way over here to the right, I would not have been in position, like, to get the job that I have now or to have met my wife and have the
Hmm.
family and the kids." So there's a lot of look back I do, and I tell people, while right now seems impossible or what you're experiencing may seem devastating, there's a point that God is putting in front of you, a task
Amen.
that that is directing you this way or that way, but in the end, it will work out, and it almost always does. So, it's kind of funny how,
Oh, you
as
know
we're
they say in the
mentoring young people.
spiritual, they say in the spiritual realm, there's your plans and then there's God's plans.
True, and
You know,
you never know what it's gonna be, but, I mean, I literally think back on all the bad things that might have happened that was my fault or somebody else's fault, and then because of that, it created me to do this or this. I mean, like my
yeah,
sister dying, my roommate dying a year after that, different
right.
things that created the person you are at the time. You can't date anybody because you fear you'll get too close and then they'll die. Just all these weird things. But as you go through life and you look back on it, though, now it's like I wouldn't change a single thing. So
No,
could you take
no.
a time machine and go back and not not do it?
One of my running jokes is, in our household, as I say, God has like this holy cigar and he's smoking and he's like, Mario, so what's your plans? And I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to go to Tampa, Florida. I want to get in some high schools and do this and that. Guys go, are you done? Are you done? Now you're gonna start a nonprofit. What?
Yeah. No,
What?
talk about that. Your nonprofit.
You're like, what? No, Todd, I appreciate it. At one point before I do that, I love how you mentioned self-reflection, the power of self-reflection.
Oh,
That's just a choice. And so it's very powerful to self-reflect and learn from it, because some folks can self-reflect, but are you learning? Are you learning new behaviors? And
yeah.
so I appreciate that point for the listeners and viewers. That self-reflection is powerful. I mean, when I look back, I was 5'5". I self-reflected. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that was a Kevlar, baby. That was 10 magazines of 5.56 and 9 magazines of 9 mil and a
No, but I,
camelback.
I do. But no, still serving. It's amazing, amazing, amazing nonprofit. My wife and Sean Travis, and a couple of folks, board of directors really helped me with this vision back in 2018. The big kudos to Lieutenant General retired Larry Nicholson, Lawrence Nicholson. He was my
Wow.
chairman emeritus. If you guys don't know, his sons right now are on active duty, but General Nicholson did about 41 years and retired from 3MEF about 4 or 5 years ago as a 3MEF CG. But
Oh, wow.
again, what it's doing now is the mission is very simple but very complex. The mission is to literally help high school students in low income communities break
Right.
that poverty cycle. Yeah, break that poverty cycle. And I did lots of research, Taco, and it's access to resources, access to experiences to develop skills, and that could be soft skills, things I cannot send you to college. I can't send you to college to become an active listener. I can't see into
Right.
the University of Social Perceptiveness, or the University of everyone has a different belief system and biases. And are you aware of yours? Are you self aware? And are you projecting? All of those soft skills that causes a lot of human challenges or not challenges, but just those soft skills. And so, like I said, for past 6 years, we, every year we pay my nonprofit pays for them to do an etiquette event at the Hilton in Greenville. There's a video
Nice.
on my landing page. Yeah, Vinny. They have an instructor come in. They teach them where the forks go, the whole nine, man. We do networking events, and then we donate about 7.2 thousand about 3.2 thousand per school, but about 7.2, 7.4 thousand for after
Wow,
school food assistance. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
yeah.
And that's in the North Carolina area?
Yeah, it's in Pitt County, North Carolina. And if they go on my website, they can see the two schools we've adopted. And one is hosted on East Carolina University campus, and the other school is hosted on Pitt Community College campus.
Okay. But,
Yeah,
I think about all the things that your parents, good parents instilling this and this and this in you and making you do stuff that at the time you don't wanna do, but pays huge dividends later, right? Like cotillion. You ever remember that word, cotillion?
hmm
In 7th, 8th grade, we had to go to cotillion up at our local church, and you would dance with girls, and you learned how to do the foxtrot and the marimba and, just all this stuff,
hmm
and that gave me the basis to be able to and the confidence to walk up to a girl at a dance while everybody else is standing up against the wall, grab her for a song, and go out there, and she's like, "Well, I really don't wanna dance." I go, "Trust me, I know how to lead. I'll whisper to you what to do." And
right.
make her look good. If you can make a girl look good dancing, life
Yeah,
is good. What
I couldn't do that because everyone was taller than me, so I just had to be the comedian. So
I can see that.
you can make them look good, but me, I just make everyone laugh.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. What book would you recommend to a young high school kid? Not that kids read a lot of books, but what book do you recommend to kids to help them?
I would the book I would recommend is the book by Malcolm Gladwell called Blank.
Yeah, blank is great.
Yep,
I like tipping
because
point. I like blank.
and the reason why is because in our education system there's curriculum set up for students to challenge mathematics, like 1 plus 1 is 2,
Mhm.
and they're designed that way that if my child came home and said, Dad, 1 plus 1 is what? If I said 5, that kid would challenge my son would be like, Dad, no.
Yeah,
Or if I brought out a ruler and I said this isn't half an inch and it wasn't. But when it comes to belief systems and biases, there's nothing right now in the curriculum that challenges your bias and why. And Blink really talks about what happens at the blink of an eye. And if you
yeah,
self-reflect, you can really realize how your own social upbringing, your own parents, your own experiences, at the blink of an eye, you make a judgment. And are you aware of it? And it's powerful when you destruct that, you really ask yourself why, and you gain a better understanding of you and how your belief system is set up. That is the book that I would recommend to 17 and 18-year-olds.
yeah. You know what I tell kids? How to win friends and influence people.
Okay, yeah.
Have you ever read that? Did you do
Yeah, yeah.
recruiting duty?
What's that?
Did you, go on recruiting duty?
No, no, I was drone sergeant. That was the hard
That
duty. I stayed away from that.
that was hard. Um, recruiting duty, they required us to read, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and that book to me basically breaks down how to deal with people and situations and all these little vignettes, and as you read them, you kinda store these things in your head, and you're like, that would be a good for a situation one day that happens." Like, I literally was probably about maybe 2 years ago sitting there gassing my car, and this Mustang, GT pulls up, and the kid gets out. He's a high school kid, 17 years old, beautiful, smoking hot little blonde sitting in the right seat. He puts the, gas in, and he turns around, looks at me, whips a cigarette out, and he lights it. And I'm like from me to you right now, yeah, I'm like looking at him. He's only a foot and a half, 2 feet from me because, we're right
Did he
there at the
offer
pump.
you a smoke?
No, God, no, but, I'm looking at him and, initially I wanted to yell at him and yank the thing out of his mouth and just, berate the living crap out of him, make him stand tall and give him the knife hand. But I was like, you know, as a dad, what would come out better? And I said, "Hey, how you doing?" He goes, good, man. I said, that is a nice car. He goes, thanks. I said, you know what? There's something about the front of this car I got to show you, though, because it's only particular to this model. And so I said, follow me. And so we walked around to the front of the car and we got about 10 feet in front of it. And I go, no, you can't see from here. Back up a little more. So we backed up and we were now about 20 feet. And I go, is that your car or your dad's car? And he goes, it's my dad's car. And I said, is that your girlfriend? Yeah. And he's thinking, where's this line of questioning going? And I go, do you know what the flash point of gasoline is? What are you talking about? I said, the point at which gasoline fumes ignite or explode when they come in contact with spark or vape or, spark or flame. He said, no. And I said, then I would never smoke around a gas pump, because if those vapors ignited that really awesome car and blew it up and you burned a hair on that girl's head, you will never get another date ever in high school or college, because it'll follow you all the way through life, my friend. That's all I'm going to say to you. You have a great night. God bless you. And, drive safe with her, because I know that thing's got a lot of power in the back end. So I walk off, and the kid sat there and looked at his car, looked at his girlfriend, gave her a wave, put the cigarette out, walked up, sat, leaned up against the car, and we got done. I said, hey, man, you have a good night, all right? And he goes, you too. Put it away. I guarantee you that kid probably to this day thinks about that. I didn't yell at him, but it got him to change, think about, well, why would that be bad? But it was, I think it was a situation in that book somewhere that I read that made me think about that. That's the book I would recommend to kids. For
Yeah,
sure.
unless he said, "My dad smokes," and he told us he'd rather I smoke too with him. But
Hey,
I
let me put my
appreciate,
let me
but
put
I
my gas in
appreciate. He's like, but sir, but I appreciate that the way you eloquently talked about the vehicle
here.
and the science, and the science behind the fuel, spark. But when I
Yeah.
get home and tell my dad, I just got this amazing.
No, actually, I think it's like the whole thing, with the girl. Man, I would never date another girl. I would never hold hands, never kiss,
Yeah,
never do this at the movie theater. Yeah, maybe that is not a good idea. I've never have a girlfriend again because I blew her up. Yeah,
yeah, no,
I may
oh,
survive,
yeah,
but she won't.
that would be horrible.
That would be. Hey,
Yeah, but
so
yeah.
so when you went over to Iraq, the first time, were you sergeant major then, or were you first sergeant?
Yeah, I was a first sergeant when I went to Iraq with 9th ESB,
9th ESB was
first
good. Were
sergeant.
you at TQ as well?
Yep,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've
at
got
TQ.
pictures of the castle, 9th
Yeah, the
ESB over there.
castle. Yeah,
Yeah, they had a castle built on the HESCO on the way to
yep,
the Chow Hall.
yeah, we built, yeah, 9th ESB.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so yeah, that was my Iraq tour with, I was, first sergeant of engineer support company, so,
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
so did that. That was about, 7-month deployment.
Yep. I lived up in the control tower, the crack house, and the general, they were next door in the dark tower, we called it, because it was
Yeah.
like a darker gray, and then ours was white with cracks all through it. We called it the crack house,
You
and we
you
had
know,
the
and it was
bada bing.
yeah, you guys had the world class coffee. No, I'm just joking, man. But
Yeah, we did. We had the cigar bar up on top of the control tower. Did you ever make that? Ever
I
visit up
no,
there?
I didn't make that.
You didn't know me.
No, I
God,
did
I
not.
had you up there smoking cigars with me, watching the outbound 155s from Habanilla. Man, that was a sight to watch at night.
And I would have joined you.
Yeah, yeah, it was smoking a cigar, watching the idiots lob some rockets at us, and all of a sudden the 155s are, and then the
Yeah.
explosions off in the distance. It was like, oof, don't want to be on the receiving end of that.
Mm-mm. No.
All right, I
Mm.
got a sergeant major story for you. Maybe make you laugh. I was walking with General Whistler and the sergeant major, and I happened to see them, and we just kind of paired up, and we are all walking to the chow hall, and the kid had gone up and they'd stuck notes up all on the bulletin board because they're doing a rip toa, and the kid had put up there, slightly used pocket something stimulator. that you might use sexually, and has another word. And he said, "Slightly used this deployment, 20 bucks or something like that." It had a big picture, but it was a really big. He had Xeroxed the picture of this thing, and then made a really big thing, not like a regular little want ad deal. And he stuck that up on the board, and the sergeant major came unglued, went up and ripped this thing off, turned around, looked at the general, goes, "Sir, I got to go get somebody. I'll see you at chow hall later." And he took off. What was the craziest sergeant major story you ever had to deal with?
And I was a sergeant major. Who was a sergeant major? Was it Lee Bonner?
It was Lee Bonner, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sergeant
was
Major
in
Bonner.
3MEF with. I was in 3MEF with. Yeah, I was with 3MEF with General Whistler. I was at 4th Marines.
No kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, I was with Dave. Now Major General Dave Odom.
Odom. God, that sounds familiar too.
Yeah, he was the chief of staff. He was the chief of staff, the deputy for 3MEF, and now he's second Mar Div CG man. Yeah, we was with
Whistler
General Whistler. Yeah, Lee
Whistler was a
Bonner.
1-star. This was in '05. He
Oh,
just
so
picked
you
up his Yeah, he
got it,
just
got it.
picked up his first star.
Yeah, I would. You know what? I would probably say if I had to pick a Sergeant Major Fields, man, I would say since I was a first sergeant major, the funniest one, we were at 29 Palms, and this Marine snuck out of the K span, the day he snuck out, and his girlfriend picked him up,
Uh-huh.
and they left. They left Camp Wilson. And when they got up in the morning, to do roll call, whatever, the Gunny came to me and he said, "Hey, we're missing one." I said, "Oh hell!" And he was like, "We think he left with his girlfriend. She's out in Twin Palms." I said, "Does anybody have his phone number?" And they were like, "Yeah, we got it." I said, who's closest to him that he's gonna pick up?" And it was like another corporal or some Lance Corps, whatever. And I said, "Hey, give it to me, man." I said, "Give it to me. We're gonna call him from your phone." So we called him from his phone,
Uh-huh.
and I think he had it on speaker or something, or his girlfriend answered. And I said, "Hi, this is Jenny. I'm pregnant, and this is Jenny. We'll just say his name is Chris." I was like, "Is Chris there? Because I'm looking for him. I was supposed to pick him up from Camp Wilson." And I can hear him go, who in the hell is that?" And she's like, "Jenny." And Jenny says and he goes, "Give me the phone." And he's like, "Hello." And I said, "Hey, Chris, this is Jenny. You're quit playing. Who are you with? Who are you with?" And he was like, "I don't know you." And I said, "Yeah, because it's your first sergeant, man. I said, "Get your ass back, Camp Wilson. You got 1 hour, dog."
Did he make 1 hour? Did he get over there?
Oh yeah, man.
Holy shit. That is
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah, she was like, "Hello." I was like, "Who is this?" "This is Jenny Stankerbach." And she was
Dude,
like,
your voice just went down like 10 octaves. You
"Oh
would
yeah,
sound
I
like
told
the
you,
chick.
Taco. I told you I'm a behind the scene comedian, man." I was like, "Oh my god, hello, I said, "I'm so pregnant, and I was supposed to pick Chris up from Camp Wilson in the middle of the night, and he is not here." She was like,
Oh,
"I'm his girlfriend." I was like, "No, you're not. I am." And then
sister, we're gonna have a fight.
dude, we had this on speaker, the company gunny. Oh my God. They were dying laughing. And we can hear him. He was like, "Who's that?" I said, "Okay, he's accounted for." So as soon as we heard his voice, yeah, I had the gunny writing. So I put it on mute and we heard him. I said, "Okay, he's accounted for. He's alive." And I said, "Let me speak to my man." And then he was like, "Who the
Oh,
F is
Mario.
this?" I was like, "It's your girlfriend. Who are you with?" He was like, "You're not my girlfriend." I said, "Yeah, I am, man. I'm first sergeant, bro." I said, "Man, I hope she worth it." I
Oh,
said,
that's
I
classic.
told him, I said, if you're not back here in 1 hour, you're gonna wish you never left." Matter of fact, I remember I told him, Taco, I said, if you're not back in 1 hour, don't ever come back. Go
Oh,
deserter. I said, you got 30 days to stay away, bro. I said, that way it makes it easy for us to drop you to desertion. So I said, so
oh,
if you don't make it back, don't come back. Don't call me. Don't call nobody. I said, you stay away for 30 days. Don't start feeling bad. I said, if she breaks up with you on the 15th day, I don't care, Lance, you're a corporal or Lance Corporal, whatever his rank was. I said, first
yeah.
Sergeant Mario P feels, I do not care. I don't care about you. I don't care about your little feelings with Jenny. I said, if you ain't back in 1 hour, TikTok, don't ever come back. Man, that dude was back in 47 minutes.
Yeah. So no CNC? Did the kid get off? No CNC, or did you have a little private
Man, I can't
CNC
remember, man. We wore that kid. And I told him too, and I said, you better bring a picture.
for the
Because we
hogboard?
want to see. I said, because I was messing with him. I said, because I want to see if she worth what you about to get.
God, what's the worst duty you make that guy do?
Man, I can't remember. I turned it over to the gunny, and you know, he was so he came in and he was just shaking and everything. And see, I wasn't a big yeller. See,
Yeah.
people could get used to yelling. Me, what I would do is make them drink. Like we're in the field, I go get some water. I'm not thirsty. I'm thirsty, and you're thirsty. So we're gonna drink together. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Um, what I want you to do is take 1 hour, and I want you to think about what you would do to me if I was you. I would make them come up with the punishment.
Really? Oh my
Yeah,
God. There was a CO. I would say he was a skid guy,
yeah,
and
man.
the kid smoked pot right before deployment to pop positive to get out of the deployment.
Yeah,
And he and the sergeant major got together, and they're like, "Nah." And the sergeant major sitting in the office like, "No, we ain't gonna bust you down. We ain't gonna kick you out. Your ass ain't getting out of going to Iraq with us.
right.
You're going to Iraq with us, and you're doing Iraq CNC with me." And,
Yeah,
and the sergeant major, they took him on deployment against his will. They took him on deployment, and he would go out every morning. The sergeant major would go, "Okay, dig a hole here, 6 by 6, and
yep,
then dig the hole. Now carry all the dirt over there 100 yards." So he have to sandbag all the stuff, carry
yeah,
the bags. There was no wheelbarrow. Carry it 100 yards, dump it, come back, load it up, and then he was just digging holes. That movie Holes, you remember that
yeah,
movie?
yeah.
Holes. That's what this kid was doing on
I'm
half
telling
of
you,
his
man.
deployment. Yeah.
Hey Taco, you know what else I used to do with kids when they would get in trouble a lot? You know what I would do? I would say,
Mm.
well, it's obvious you don't want to be in the Marine Corps. And I got that. I'm not gonna fight you. That's why I don't look old. I said, I don't humans, I said, I don't react to humans. I
Yeah.
said, but here's what we're gonna do. I said, here's what we're gonna do. Because you keep getting in trouble, I want to get you ready for transition. So you're gonna call me Mario. I can't, Sergeant Major. See, you're already starting off wrong. I said, so when we got, so I used to be like, so when we have a division, when we have a regimental run, and I say, regiment, 10 hook, and then I'm going to point out you. When I say, good morning, everybody, good morning, Sergeant Major, then I'm going to say, good morning, John. And you say, good morning, Mario. Every time you and I talk to each other, I'm Mario.
What did the rest of the guys do?
Dude. But my colonels and generals be like, we always have just great units. I have no idea what you do behind the doors, but
Yeah.
whatever you're doing, it works. We just always have the greatest morale, minimum NJPs. Yeah, man, because yelling, I saw it as a drill instructor. They can get used to that and doing stupid stuff. I would change it up on you. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Even in the wing, even when I was in the wing, I was like, all right, I got it. Come across that turnstile. Pilots land to give the gripes. I got it. Good on you, sir, gentlemen. Got it. Here's the deal.
Good. I wish you were
Here-
my sergeant major.
Here's the deal.
We'd have
You
some
don't call
fun.
me. You don't call me Mario.
Well, hey Mario, you can call me Taco any day and twice on Tuesday.
It's,
Look
I
at
was like, Hey, Taco, you see that face? I'm like, you better call me Mario tonight.
Look at that is
Lance Corporal.
whoever took that photo, that is a grade A awesome photograph of you at
Yeah,
the ball.
I appreciate it. It was a young Marine from Combat Camera. He did it. He did an amazing job. You know, in that photo, we had just got extended in Afghanistan.
Right here?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I see the
We had just
cigar action.
we had just got extended. It was a new deployment that turned into almost an 11-month deployment.
Oh, that's amazing.
You know,
Long time to be over there, that's for sure.
yeah, we're on a Danish base. I'm
And
your
this
host.
is Unarmored Talk. I love it.
I'm
I actually thought you were a armor guy when I first saw this, but,
yeah.
yeah, look at you. So as a podcast or a, content creator, what what is your favorite platform to use? What do you enjoy the most?
Believe it or not, TikTok.
Chinese stuff, man. I don't know if I can put that on my phone.
Hey, like you and I said before the show. I'm like, hey, if y'all spying on me and y'all find some things out about Mario P that's juicy, tell me.
Yeah, I used to go to Beijing, and when I flew over there, I would go into the, S2 office. I'd go in my office, and I'd type up all these fake orders, movement orders and things like that, and I would stamp it top secret. I'd go into the S2 office and say, "Hey, let me borrow that stamp," and I would stamp stuff. It's like, "What are you stamping, Taco?" And I said, "Don't worry about it." And then when I go over to China, I would ball it up and throw it in the trash can. And I would go out and go shopping, do whatever, come back. My trash can was empty. There'd be these little chocolates on my bed. I was throwing all sorts of bullshit in the trash just to screw with the Chinese. I mean, coming up with, new operation, code name Gonklator.
Op- Operation Digital Ants. What?
Yeah. Yeah, just to have fun, but yeah,
You,
they I'm sure.
well, I'm on a lot of platforms. Honestly, Taco, every platform has a different audience, and
Yeah,
so I enjoy each of them for the audience. Like my TikTok is more of my comedy, my comedian side,
right.
and they love it. And where my YouTube, I have 4 playlists, but a lot of folks they like the legacy videos, but they love it when I'm with Nicole. We have a playlist called Sergeant Major and His Wife on my YouTube channel
Oh,
and on Instagram as well. So it depends on the audience. But I have some amazing fans. I have some amazing on all the platforms: Instagram, Reddit,
wow.
LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Just some amazing loyal fans, man.
But how do you have time to cut and make shorts and all that? Do you hire a company? Do you have a, production company that does that for you, or do you do it yourself?
So remember earlier I told you about those assessments, and I used to always wonder why was it so easy. When I did all of before I got this job, we had to do our onboarding training,
Yeah.
and when I had to go through all the assessments. Do you know that all of my assessments make me 99% best fit for broadcasting, content creation, and comedy?
Well,
It is
comedy
so
yeah, I can see all that. That's great.
it falls under the actor industry. So
Yeah.
all of the things I do, yeah, it is so easy. Like people going, "How do you do this?" I'm like, "Easy." It's almost like when you're flying, you're like, "Oh, just
Yeah, flying and plane. I need to
Right,
take that
right,
test, find
right.
out what I want you to give me that test, administer the test, and then find out, was I really supposed to be a garbage man, you know?
Dude, I'm telling you, like, so, like, you're like, yeah, just welcome aboard, just fly. Same thing for me. I'll just be, out in the yard. I'm like, oh, that's some awesome content. I'll just drop, put an overlay on it, do it on my TikTok or the Instagram, put the music, change the font. I mean, I will shoot a vid or create the content, have overlay done, have it in a reel or short in minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I need to come out and, be your apprentice. I'll work for you for free. Give me a weekend. I'll come out there and you put me up and let me be your Mitch boy.
We
and
have enough
I'll
we have Nicole and I are empty nesters, and our granddaughter is, she's only 96 hours young, if you will,
yeah,
but we have
congrats.
nothing but the space until she gets big that we're going to let her take over the house.
Well, I'm serious about that. I jump on an airplane, fly out, come see you, and I
Yeah,
will be your, what do they call it? The skill bridge program. Call it the
yeah,
skill
man.
bridge program, and
Put it
I'll
this way,
do whatever you need so I can learn.
Taco, we're going to keep our house on the coast, but we're going to buy another house near RDU. So
Mhm.
literally, man, you ever fly near Raleigh Durham
I do.
International? Yeah, you will have you will have a place in next in 2025 to come see.
All right. Well, when you do, Parker Perkins, good dear high school friend of mine, went to college with me, joined the Marines with me. Um, Parker is out there in Raleigh, so I go out to go see him, and he has a place out in Nags Head, so he's got a beach
Yeah,
house down there.
nice.
So I have to get when you go to Raleigh, I'll get you 2 hooked up because if you like Porsches, he's part of this Porsche club that's to die for. You'll have a great time. They've got
Yeah,
all these beautiful cars there, have lunch, have a drink, and as a Marine, he would host you in a heartbeat. So
I'm all about it. I'll be a sergeant major.
Hey, wait, did you say free drinks?
The
Uh,
smash is in the house.
that's mad. That's it. Well, listen, let's see if there's anybody because this is live. So some of the people on here are going to have a couple things. And Jason says, "Were you ever based at Beaufort, aside from your time at PI?" I was there, VMFA 312, 9701. Seemed to recognize you.
No, Jason, thanks. I was never stationed at Marine Corps Air Station Beaufort. Did visit there a few times, but never stationed there, my friend.
Yeah, that's a beautiful place. I love
Yes.
all that area.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Kirkham.
No, both those
Kirkham,
guys.
the cigar master, Terry
Yeah.
Kirkham.
Oh, that's awesome, Terry. Good seeing you on here, man. Jason, looking back, my drill instructors were hilarious. Had one Puerto Rican DI and MRP that if he
MRP.
smelled a fart, he'd say, "Oh God, somebody wants to fart in my squad bay."
We're fans now. Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
uh,
Hey, Jason, I'm glad he wasn't my drill instructor when I had that porta potty incident.
oh my God. I'm glad you didn't have to go in there and clear it out.
Oh
QA,
man.
thank you very much for joining us. I love it. And Ben, nothing but a lot of Marines were tragically lost in Tarawa, Pacific World War II, because exactly what Sergeant Major describing about being in the water. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, true.
Yeah. 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 No, thanks, Ben. And yeah, I always keep everyone in my prayers that we've ever lost and we will lose in the future.
Yeah, true. Thank you both for your service. Mark, you appreciate your brother. And Nicole, of course,
Oh
he was
God.
the honor grad. You were the honor grad.
Here she go, man.
Yeah. Hey, we got a couple from the wife. Still got meritorious Lance Corporal. Nice.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, go Navy.
I was never a PFC. The
Who
motivator
motivates the
motivates the
motivator? I
motivator.
love that. Ryan, it was great seeing you on here. I saw him at in San Diego. We were at his dad went from private to Lance Corporal the first day he went to Vietnam. Did you ever hear that story?
Wow.
Yeah, Colonel
Mm.
Donahue was a private and he's in Vietnam. They go out on some mission and they spring an ambush and kill like 5 NVA dudes. And one of them happens to be the NVA paymaster for the entire I Corps of NVA or whatever. So they cut the handcuffed deal off the dude's briefcase and they bring it back. And when they open it up, it has the payrolls. It shows everybody, has the names of every single NVA soldier
Oh
in the
wow.
entire area. So you talk about a intelligence coup. Well, next day the general comes out to the base and he promotes the sergeant to staff sergeant, and the two of them were like privates. Privates, lance corporals. You're lance corporals now. So
Wow.
yeah, very first day in Vietnam or something like that. I'm sure I'm embellishing the story a little bit close, but his dad was one of my favorite bosses, except for the dreaded phone call I get from because I was a district aviator for the ninth, and he would go, "Hey, Taco, do you need to do proficiency flying?" "Sir, I always like to go proficiency fly." And he goes, "Yeah, I could go do a visit up to Milwaukee and talk to the CEO. I need you to make a telephone call and tell him where the FBO is that you're going to land at and have him come pick us up." Roger that. So I'd pick up the phone. "Hi, sir. Hey, it's Taco." "Hey, Taco, how's it going?" "Sir, this is not a really good phone call I got to make. Um, Colonel wants you to meet at the FBO in Milwaukee." He'd be like, "How is he?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's in a decent mood, but didn't sound too good. Just preparing you." He's like, "Thanks, Taco." Click, hang up the phone. Oh yeah, I didn't like doing that, but that was recruiting duty, and they had to fly around and talk to the RSCOs and whatnot. Yeah,
You're
yeah. You know what?
just hydrate, man.
Yeah, yeah. Just aye, sir. I'm in Milwaukee. I cannot, get enough people out of Milwaukee. I'm sorry, sir. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, listen, Mario, I can't thank you enough for coming out here and jaw jacking with me for over an hour and 20 minutes. But I'm telling you right now, if you fly American or you come through DFW, please, you let me know right away.
You know I
I'm gonna
will,
hook
my
you up.
friend. You know I will. And thank you for having me on your show and being
Oh yeah.
such a wonderful host, Taco. I mean, again, everyone, if you guys haven't subscribed, get on his channel. American Hero right here, and you guys
Yeah.
know the deal. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got my pom poms out, and thank you for keeping us safe in the air, if you will, and thank you for doing what you do in your family, my friend.
This is fun. This is what I enjoy. Sitting there, the highlight of my week is Tuesday night talking to somebody like you and just shooting the bull, especially another Marine. I've got Rob Riggle. I've got him. We're emailing back and forth. You know Rob Riggle, the actor?
Hmm.
Yeah, he's a retired Marine lieutenant colonel. And so we're emailing back and forth, just trying to get his schedule to mesh where he's not in production or not traveling playing golf. But yeah, I want him on because I've never heard another Marine interview him. They're all non-Marines, so they don't know what we know, you know. So it's
Yeah.
kind of funny.
When
Anyway,
when we
this is
when we get
fun.
off the when we get off the show, I got a recommendation for you, my friend. I think he would be honored to come on your show. He helped develop Full Metal Jacket.
Ooh, all right. Hold on a second. I'm gonna drop you off. I'm gonna say goodbye. Just hang out for 1 minute. All right.
I got you.
All right. Hey, and everybody, do me a favor and go sign up. Here it is. You can see that Unarmored Talk. It is on Apple and it's also on YouTube. And where else? You're everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, you're everywhere. So you can't not Google Sergeant Major Mario P. Fields unarmored and have a million things. I mean, a million things will show up. So, um, and you'll be able to do it. So subscribe to all this stuff and listen to some of these podcasts. They're fantastic, motivating. I love it. All right, I'm going to drop you off 1 second, and I will catch up with you later.
Thank you, my friend.
Just hang on. Hey, folks, thank you so much for joining us. I tell you, this is what makes me a happy camper. And sitting there shooting the bull with a fellow Marine who is a highly successful, retired Marine out there in the stratosphere of the interweb and doing some really, really cool stuff. So hopefully, maybe I can iron sharpens iron. I'll go out there and be his assistant and I'll learn how to do all this stuff and I can come back and make my show a little bit better. But until then, next Tuesday, adios, hasta luego, sa wiedersehen, tschüss, sheshine, au revoir, domo arigato gozaimasu, tando shinde kudasai, ciao, arrivederci, tashakur, assalamu alaikum, mahala, do vidjenia, das vidanya. I think I'm going to go out with this one tonight. You guys take care. Thanks again.